In this video, I want to show you how to learn all sorts of complex rhythms. Step 1. You should be very clear where each beat is in every bar. When you're in a 2/4 time signature, search for the 2 main beats. When you're in a 4/4 time signature, search for the 4 main beats. In 6/8, depending on how fast it is, search for the 6 beats or the 2 beats, because the 6/8 time signature has the emphasis on the first and the fourth eighth note. Always when you play, have the current beat in mind. So when I get lost here, I still know where I am and when the next first beat comes, because I didn't stop counting. So don't just go randomly from every beat to the next one, know what beat you're playing in every bar. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, not 1, 1, 1, 1. If you're playing a 7/8 time signature or 5/8 time signature, figure out how to separate them into smaller groups. Most of the time the notes will help you with that. Just look at the black bars. If the notes are joined together, they most of the time belong together, so this would be 3, 2, 2 and this 2, 3. Step 2. Break down every beat even further. How do you do that? By having a metronome inside of your brain that ticks with the fastest note value you're seeing right now. In this case, the 16th note. Then get clear again how this one beat is divided up, where each of the 4 16th note is on the one beat. Sometimes going from the macro, 1 bar, to the micro, a very tiny section, is too difficult directly. Then go from 1 bar to 1 beat, cut the beat in half, and do that again and again until you know exactly where each note is in the bar and on what beat exactly. Step 3. Start playing one beat perfectly. Always have a metronome of the fastest note value you're playing currently in your mind. If it's not clear, with the metronome I mean you have to count. Consider this dotted quarter note. How long is it? The dot adds the half of the note to itself, so 3 16th notes. And when your mind is running in 16th note, you know that the actual 16th note has to come on the 4th beat. Step 4. After doing this for every beat, put the pieces back together until you can play the whole bar. Triplets. If played fast, just think of playing 3 notes on this one beat. The slower you play something, the slower the notes, the bigger the risk of you losing track of the metronome and therefore playing unrhythmically. What can you do? Break the triplets down into the next faster value. So if we have quarter note triplets, we break them down into 8th notes triplets. That way we don't count up to 1 number on every note, but 2. 2 beats per note means more stability for us. Of course you don't play this, you don't play every note twice, this is just in your mind. Especially wind instruments have to pay attention here to not push a second emphasis on each note. 3 against 2. Most of the time you either play tuplets or triplets, but sometimes they appear simultaneously. Trick 1, again, break them down and try to see where exactly they are together and when and by how much they are separated. If you play this, the second 8th note cuts the second triplet note in half. Obviously the normal 8th note cuts the beat in half. So it is just logical that it would cut the middle note in half if there were 3. Another option, you make 16th triplets out of the 8th triplets and then you find the note exactly in the middle. And then you will see it's the second half of the second triplet. If you're playing with others and you want to be very accurate, this is what I would do. Sure, playing it often and getting a feel of how the notes combine with each other is great and you should know that, but you also should know where exactly is each beat in every bar. Trick 2, if you're playing piano, just learn both hands separately. Learn them so well that your hands don't think about the playing part anymore and you can just put them together. Although I'd still recommend knowing where exactly each beat and microbeat is, especially for easier stuff like 2 against 3. If there's something like this, you do not try to figure out the difference between 2 notes. That would be insane. Here you really just learn to try both hands separately and you put them together afterwards. Clap the rhythm without your instrument. I've seen my students fail at rhythm when playing the piece with their instrument and thought it was a problem of rhythm, but it wasn't. They were able to clap the rhythm perfectly, and most of the time it was a finger problem, not a rhythm problem. Think from the end of the bar in mind. If you're playing a 4/4 time signature, for example, you know that you have 4 beats in every bar. It can help to look at the bar not just from the beginning, but also from the back. If you know that these 3 notes combined are quarter note, you know that this must be the 4th beat, because you have exactly 4 in each bar. Pay attention if it's the first or last bar, sometimes they're not complete. I would recommend playing songs, for example, from the Beatles like Yesterday. These are often quite complex in terms of rhythm if you play exactly what is in the notes. Do a lot of sight reading, join a band. Usually the literature is more complex than classical orchestra literature in terms of rhythm, at least for Mozart and the most classical composers and baroque composers is definitely the case. My earliest background in music is from a wind orchestra where I played a huge variety of different pieces and I've never struggled with rhythm whatsoever, so I can highly recommend playing bands, orchestras or any other kind of ensemble. If you enjoyed this video, you will enjoy this one as well, so click right here. Thanks for watching and we see each other in the next one.